I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. This video is daunting. How to shoot your photos. It's a daunting topic. It's a large topic. It's a broad topic. I personally don't know where to go with this sometimes. But you know, give the people what they want. Give them what they want. I want wine. Hello friends, it's me, Anjuli, and I am going to teach you how I shoot my Instagram pictures at home all by myself. If you don't follow me on Instagram because you found this video because it was somehow recommended to you, thank you YouTube algorithm, but also you should totally follow me on Instagram. I am a self-portrait artist. I have been for a little over 5 years. It is just something I love to do. There is actually a reason why I got into it, and I'll talk about that at a different time, but I just really love a good selfie, you know? So it's highly requested that I talk about this because people like my pictures, and so I wanted to give the people what they want. And so right here on my phone that I'm gonna have, and also with my glass of wine that I'm going to have, I'm going to read off this list of things that I made that you definitely should consider when taking your own pictures at home. They will definitely help you a lot. I feel like I phrased that weird. So the first thing is you should get a remote and a tripod, and honestly, a monitor is so helpful. When you are taking your own pictures, you don't have a photographer. You don't have somebody to hold the camera, and you don't have anybody to hit that button for you. So you need a clicker and you need something to hold that camera, and a monitor is helpful because it allows you to see. And I know that sounds like so technical, like a monitor, what is that? But if you have a camera, like my camera has a little flip out screen. I work with a Canon Bro, I'm gonna have to type that down below because I don't even know. I don't have glasses on, I can't see what it says, but I have a Canon camera and that's what I used to shoot with, and have used a Canon in general for a few years now. If you're shooting on your iPhone and you have it facing towards you on like selfie mode or whatever, that's technically a monitor. You can also take, like, there's a Canon Connect app and it will allow you to turn your phone or your iPad into a monitor, and sometimes I use that, very rarely, but sometimes I use that. But it just allows you to see what's in frame. So it's just helpful. And like I said, a tripod is great because it holds the camera, and a remote. Seriously, I'm gonna link everything down below that I can. A remote is, every single time I bring up the remote, people are just like, their brains explode because they're like, how did I not even think about getting a remote? A remote is so helpful. Who's trying to beat that self-timer? Not me. I am not trying to run for a photo. That is not my life. It's never been my life. You need a remote, okay? Get yourself a remote. Literally $5 to $10, maybe $15 if you're getting fancy, get a remote. So tip number 2 is to scroll Pinterest for general posing or picture ideas to go with whatever you're shooting. So I had a collaboration with this shoe company, and I knew that I had to show the shoes, but I have a problem where I'm 5'10", problem. And so a lot of the times I actually can't get myself in full frame using my camera just because of the lens that I have isn't wide enough. So I needed help. I was like, how am I gonna get pictures of these shoes with my body in it? And so I scrolled Pinterest looking for pictures, and I found some of like girls crouching and blocking the sun. Hopefully this picture's up on Instagram so I can post it here. But I found the inspo for that photo through Pinterest. I did not copy that photo exactly because I am a vintage inspired, a vintage aesthetic person, so I still put my own razzle dazzle to it. But I look for Pinterest for general ideas because the thing is, and I talk about this a lot, especially over on my blog, that your ideas most of the time aren't 100% original. And that's not to like burst your bubble or anything, but like there are already tools, resources, ideas out there. You're allowed to pull from them. Seriously, look at all of your favorite photographers, all of your favorite bloggers, look at magazines. A lot of their photos, you'll start to notice, favor each other in one way or another. And it's because you just pull inspo from various places. There's nothing wrong with that. Pull inspo from Pinterest. Don't try to reinvent the wheel yourself. It's too much work. You got a lot of other things that you could be focusing on when it comes to taking your pictures. So the third thing I wrote is, and this is, I'm using studio lighting as I say this, but natural lighting is the best lighting, hands down my favorite lighting. I will never, ever, ever root for studio lighting the way that I root for natural lighting. Natural lighting is honestly just the best. You can use studio lighting. Studio lighting is convenient because you have access to it 24/7, but honestly, natural lighting is the absolute best. Do not feel like you need to run out and get lighting. I would buy yourself a remote before you get yourself lighting. Do not invest in lighting until you're at that point and you feel like it's something you are genuinely going to use. I use it in my house because my house is very, very dark. We live like vampires in my house. I don't know what it is, but my house just feels like it's in a constant state of night. So I have to use studio lighting in my house, but I love shooting in front of windows or shooting outside because the natural lighting is just superior. It's just the best. It's the best. So yeah. So the other thing you want to take in consideration is trial and error. Truly, honestly, I think I take up to 250 photos sometime in one session, sometimes even just for one outfit. And I am only with the goal of only getting like 3 to 5 because once again, I'm posting them onto Instagram. There's not much. I don't need 250 photos. You don't need to take 250 photos, but I say that to stress the fact that there is a lot of trial and error that I even deal with. When it comes to angling my camera, sometimes I take a bunch of photos and I'm like, I loathe this angle. Let me try another angle and take a bunch of photos. Sometimes I do things with certain lighting and I'm like, I hate this lighting. Let me try this with different lighting. Trial and error is something you have to accept as a part of this process. So if you don't get it right the first time, don't get mad at yourself. I promise you are absolutely fine because I can't even get it right the first time. Like, it's fine to have a bunch of photos. Trial and error, okay? Trial and error. Try different things too and let them fail. Just do it. It's fine. So I actually made a reel about this, and this is one of my favorite tips to give because, I even say it in a reel. The truth is, like, we're not models. We're just not. We're people, we're regular people with the ability to have access to cameras through our phones or through actual camera lenses. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. So moving while you're shooting is going to be the absolute best thing you can do. And if you find it difficult to move, give yourself motivation by adding a prop. One of my favorite props to use is one of my boys. They're not even around right now, but you'll see a lot. I typically pick up a dog. Usually it's Red because he's the most agreeable, but I pick them up and I add them to my photos. I love doing this because it gives me purpose. It gives me motivation. It kind of gets me out of my head. So it makes me feel less awkward because honestly, I don't know about you, even right now. And like I said, I've been doing this for over 5 years and I was actually a model for a minute too. When I get in front of the camera, I get a little like a little bit shaken up. I don't really know what to do because there's a camera on me now. So now it feels like everything has to be perfect, right? No. Wrong. The best thing you can do whenever there's a camera in front of you is to get out of your own head. Dance around, move around, act like you're drinking a glass of wine. Pick up a dog, smell some flowers, twirl your hair, do something, spin around, dance. Do whatever you can to get yourself out of your head and snap while you're doing it. Another tip that I have, especially for like iPhone users or Android users, is to do a video instead. And then what you can do is whenever you have time, just sit down, look at the video, and just screenshot your favorite parts of that. And those are your pictures, I know with the iPhone camera quality, you are able to do that and not sacrifice too much for the quality. I don't know too much about Android because I ain't about that life. But, there are ways for you to move while you're taking pictures and you 120% should do that. It is the absolute best piece of advice that I can give when it comes to actually shooting. And then the last tip is you should just practice. Keep practicing. Always practice. And practice just to practice. Don't practice to post. Because when you know that you have to post it, it's adding a huge layer of pressure to it You should just to practice. Practice knowing that some of the photos are going to turn out terribly, or all of them are going to turn out terribly. The art of practicing has been so lost on us since hustle culture and whatnot. We are so unable to have a moment of practice. And it is very important, especially with things like photography, anything with art, really, that you allow yourself space and time to create without expectation. Practice. Practice like you would singing, and even if it's not the best, at least you can say you practiced it. You know, just practice playing with the setting, practice playing with angles, with poses, with lighting, with everything. Just practice, because practice, blah, blah, blah. Practice truly does make closer to perfection. It doesn't make perfection, because perfection doesn't exist, but it makes closer to perfection. And on that note, that is everything I have written down. This video was so much easier to do since I made a list and also had some wine. And I am hopeful that this gives you enough information to go out there and get started on your own self-portrait journey. If there are any specific questions you have for me about anything that I talked about, or just things that popped into your head, please leave them down below. I would love to respond to your comments. I love reading your comments. If you know on Instagram, I love when we have conversation about things. And I hope to be back with you soon with something else that you would like to know. Until next time, friends, please take care of yourselves. Know that you are loved and appreciated so much. And I love you, all my babies, and goodbye. Cheers! Here we go. Yeah.